She left you. Good. Because the moment she walked away, she gave you the greatest gift a man can receive, clarity. When you're in the storm of heartbreak, all the fake smiles and comforting lies disappear, and what's left is raw, undeniable truth. Most men crumble here. They beg, plead, spiral into despair, but not you. This is your moment to rise, to rebuild, and to become the man you were too distracted to be. Pain is the alarm clock that wakes the beast within. She didn't reject you, she redirected you. The silence she left behind is not a void, it's a blank canvas. Now it's time to build, not with noise or revenge, but in silence, power, and purpose. The breakup wasn't a failure, it was a revelation. It showed you where you placed your worth, how much you tied your identity to someone else's approval. Now that she's gone, the mirror is clean, and you see yourself raw, flawed, real. This isn't the time to chase closure or seek sympathy. This is the time to build a life so solid, so focused, that the next woman has to earn a seat at your table. Most men never make it past the pain, but you'll use the pain as pressure, and pressure creates diamonds. While others drown in self-pity, you'll train, plan, and execute in silence, because silence isn't emptiness. It's the sound of you sharpening your sword. She left you with silence, but that silence is sacred. It's the space where greatness is born. No distractions, no drama, just you and your thoughts, battling in the dark. This is where true masculinity is forged, not in the presence of others, but in the isolation where only discipline keeps you warm. You'll start showing up for yourself, not to prove anything to her, but to honor your potential. Every workout, every early morning, every book read is a vote for the man you're becoming. Let her wonder. Let her scroll through your life in silence while you elevate behind closed doors. She left. Good. Now give her something she'll never forget, a version of you she'll never have access to again. The old version of you, the one who begged, doubted, waited around, is dead. He had to die. That version was soft, emotional, led by impulses and fear of loss. But from his ashes rises a man who leads himself. No more emotional outbursts, no more late-night texts, no more hoping. You now become dangerous, not because you hurt others, but because you master yourself. You'll no longer be addicted to validation, you'll be addicted to improvement. The best revenge is not a new girl, it's becoming unrecognizable to the one who walked away. This is your discipline era. No more wasting time chasing people who never planned to stay. You chase results, impact, and legacy now. She left, but your mission didn't. Get serious about your health, your money, your focus. While she's reposting memes, you'll be stacking wins. The man who builds in silence doesn't need to announce his transformation. His results scream louder than any post ever could. Make your absence felt by becoming someone she couldn't handle if she tried. From this point forward, every moment is either making you stronger or keeping you weak. Most men think attraction is all about muscles, money, and smooth lines, but that's only surface level. The real pull, the magnetic force that draws a woman in, comes from something deeper. It's not in what you say, it's in what you withhold. It's the energy of a man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't need validation. What if I told you that women are far more drawn to mystery, focus, and emotional stability than they are to flash? By the end of this video, you'll understand why silent strength beats loud desperation every time. You'll see why she pulled away, and how to become the kind of man who never needs to chase again. Attraction is not something you force, it's something you embody. And the key to unlocking that power lies in stillness, not struggle. Attraction isn't a performance, it's a presence. It's how you walk into a room without needing attention, yet owning the space. Women sense energy, especially the kind that says, I don't need you, I'm good either way. When you stop trying to impress and just be, they lean in closer. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't explain himself, doesn't flex, and doesn't seek approval. The irony is, The less you try, the more they try to figure you out. That's the power of grounded masculinity. You aren't a showman, you're a force. And real forces never beg to be seen, they're felt. Most men lose attraction because they lose control of their emotional frame. They let her energy dictate theirs. They get excited when she's sweet and crumble. When she pulls away, that's weakness, and women can smell it. Emotional self-control is the backbone of masculine attraction. She wants to feel safe, and safety comes from stability, not chaos. When you're calm while she's storming, you become the anchor in her whirlwind. You're not reacting to her. You're holding your frame. The moment she realizes you don't need her to be okay is the moment she starts wondering why. That's the shift from seeker to selector. A man who's on a mission doesn't lose himself in any woman. He adds her to his momentum if she fits. That's what makes him rare. Most guys stop everything for a pretty face. But the man who stays focused on his goals, who shows up every day with purpose, becomes intoxicating. Why? Because purpose is power, and power is attractive. He isn't texting good morning every day. He's building an empire. He's not waiting by the phone. He's in the gym, in the books, in his grind. And that self-respect bleeds into how others treat him. Be the man who moves like he's chosen, even when he's alone. Never give away all of yourself too early. Mystery wins every time. When you're too available, too eager, you kill the spark before it ignites. A woman should discover you, not have you handed to her on a silver plate. Be intentional with your silence. Speak when needed, not when needy. Share your vision, not your insecurities. Let her wonder, let her guess, let her work to earn deeper access, because the man who's too easy to figure out is just as easy to forget. Here's the harsh truth. Most men destroy their own attraction without even realizing it. They text too much, ask too often, overanalyze every word, and seek constant reassurance. This behavior doesn't show love, it screams insecurity. The moment you start trying to convince her to stay, you've already lost. Women don't want to be convinced, they want to feel pulled in naturally. When a man puts her on a pedestal, he lowers himself in the process. And the more he chases, the faster she runs. Neediness repels, confidence attracts. They think being available 24/7 shows commitment, but to her, it signals boredom. A man without boundaries becomes a man without value. When you drop everything just to reply instantly, you're telling her that her attention is more important than your purpose. That's not romantic, that's desperation dressed as devotion. And women pick up on it fast, even if they don't consciously admit it. Deep down, they want a man who's too busy chasing greatness to obsess over texts. When you make her the center of your universe, she'll start orbiting someone else's. Not because she's cruel, but because you failed to give her something to admire. A woman wants to earn a man's time, not be handed it on a silver platter. The harshest part? She'll never tell you you're doing it wrong. She'll just feel the vibe shift, start texting less, get colder, and slowly pull away. Meanwhile, you're scrambling to fix things by doing more of what's already turning her off. You send her long messages. You ask her what's wrong. You try to prove your worth with gifts, attention, and constant validation. And with every act of desperation, she sees you as less of a man and more of a boy. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding primal truths. A woman wants to feel like she's in the presence of a man who doesn't flinch under pressure. If she can emotionally sway you, she can never fully trust you to lead. That's why emotional control is the first thing women subconsciously test. It's not evil, it's evolutionary. She wants to know that if life throws chaos at you, you won't crack. That's why when she gives you the cold shoulder or threatens to leave, she's watching. Not your words, but your energy. Do you spiral or do you stand tall? Do you beg or do you breathe and go back to work? Most men fail this test without even realizing it's happening. They see her emotional pullback as a reason to chase, rather than a chance to stand firm. And once you chase, it's already too late. You were taught to fight for love, but no one told you how to fight properly. Real strength isn't found in pleading or proving, it's found in restraint. When she senses that you need her to feel whole, she loses respect, even if she once loved you deeply. The problem isn't her pulling away, it's you placing your self-worth in her hands. That's why she left, not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't believe you were. She felt that void inside you, and she walked away because she couldn't fill it. That's the pain you must face and the fire you must walk through. Because once you fill that void with purpose, discipline, and silence, you'll never beg for love again. The solution? Become the storm she can't shake. A stoic man doesn't beg for love. He becomes love in motion. He doesn't react to emotional games or pullbacks. He remains unbothered, calm, and focused. This isn't about being cold, it's about being grounded. The man who can control himself controls the room. When she leaves, he doesn't fall apart. He builds in silence and lets his progress do the talking. The stoic man knows that attention is currency, and he spends it wisely. He's the eye of the hurricane, still, calm, powerful. And women can't resist the calm in the chaos. True stoicism isn't about shutting down, it's about leveling up. It's about holding the chaos in your chest without letting it leak into your decisions. When a woman leaves, most men collapse emotionally and call it love. But a stoic man sees her exit as the beginning of his rise. He doesn't scream, post sad quotes, or try to manipulate her back. He gets in the gym, opens books, builds businesses. He knows that his silence is louder than her words. The more he improves in the dark, the more she feels it in her soul, even if she never says it. Because real strength can't be faked, it's felt. And women feel it when a man walks away and transforms. The stoic man isn't detached from emotion, he simply controls it like a weapon. He allows himself to feel the pain, but he never lets it dictate his moves. When she ghosts him, he doesn't chase. He disappears into discipline. He becomes so focused on his mission that her absence becomes irrelevant. And the irony? That's when she starts to wonder. Not because of any tactic, but because she senses something powerful. He didn't need her, he chose her. And once she realizes she was never the center of his world, her curiosity is reignited. The stoic man doesn't win her back by force. He draws her back by gravity. The calmness of a stoic man in chaos makes him magnetic. In a world full of emotionally reactive, validation-seeking boys, a grounded man stands out like fire. In the dark, he doesn't argue, complain, or over-explain. He observes, he adapts, he acts, and when he speaks, every word carries weight because it's backed by silence, discipline, and experience. That's the kind of man women crave. Not the loudest in the room, but the most composed under fire. He doesn't ask for respect. He earns it through presence. And if she never comes back, good. Because the stoic man was never building for her, he was building for himself. He doesn't view rejection as a loss. He sees it as redirection toward greater alignment. She was a chapter, not the book. And now, with his energy reclaimed, his focus sharpened, and his path clear, he walks, forward unshaken. A storm may rage around him, but within him is peace, and that peace, that's what makes him unstoppable. Psychologically, women are wired to test a man's emotional resilience. It's not always conscious, but it's real. When she pulls away, argues, or goes silent, she's watching your reaction. If you panic, you fail. If you remain calm, composed, and focused on your mission, you pass, and her attraction deepens. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that women are drawn to men who can protect, provide, and remain stable under pressure. The less you react, the more control you signal. The more control you signal, the more respect you command. emotional. Control is the silent signal of strength, and strength is irresistible. Most men don't understand that a woman's mixed signals are often subconscious probes for strength. When she creates emotional chaos, silence, drama, withdrawal, she's not trying to destroy you, she's trying to see you. Her instincts are ancient, wired to identify which man can remain grounded while everything around him shifts. If you respond with anger, pleading, or confusion, you fail the invisible test. But when you remain composed, detached, and unfazed, her mind associates you with leadership and security. That's when she starts to feel something she can't. Explain, respect. Attraction lives in the space between emotion and restraint. A woman's mind may desire charm, but her biology craves control and calm. And the man who passes her tests silently becomes unforgettable. Even hormones play a role in this psychological dance. Research shows that women release oxytocin, the bonding chemical, when they trust a man emotionally. But trust doesn't come from romantic gestures or sweet words. It comes from perceived stability. When she senses that your world doesn't crumble when she walks away, she sees you as a foundation. This doesn't mean being emotionally unavailable. It means being emotionally unshakable. High testosterone, which is linked to dominance and status, is also linked to a calm, focused demeanor. That quiet confidence signals to her brain, this man doesn't panic, he leads. And leadership is the ultimate aphrodisiac. Emotional mastery is attractive because it's rare. In a world where most men react impulsively, cry for validation, and seek approval at every turn, the man who can sit with his pain, process it, and respond with intention stands out. Women don't always know what they're testing for, but they recognize the results instantly. Emotional volatility tells her you're not in control of yourself, so how could you ever lead her? But when you hold your frame, even when she tries to shake it, she feels safe. And safety births deep desire. When she can throw her worst at you and you remain composed, you win. And not just in attraction, but in life. Your emotional energy sets the tone for every interaction. When a man walks into a room radiating inner peace, people respect him, even if they don't know why. That same principle applies to women. The less reactive you are, the more you force the world to adapt to your energy. And here's the secret. The man who controls himself can control any situation. When you've built your emotional fortress, her games don't bother you. Her distance doesn't faze you, and her tests become irrelevant. You stop playing her game, and suddenly she wants to play yours. This is the real game of attraction, and it's played in silence. So what do you do when she leaves? First, cut contact, not to punish her, but to center yourself. Second, channel your energy into your body, your purpose, and your craft. Your mission is now your queen. Third, refuse to stalk her online or fish for attention. Every click is a surrender of your power. Fourth, journal and reflect. Learn what went wrong, not to wallow, but to level up. Fifth, create silence with intention, not avoidance, but rebuilding. Start waking up earlier, lifting heavier, reading more, speaking less. Let her wonder what happened to you while you disappear into excellence. Let your next version be so powerful that the old you embarrasses you. When she walks away, don't chase. Walk the other direction, into your own evolution. Too many men waste this golden opportunity trying to get her back when they should be using that energy to become unrecognizable. Cut contact not to manipulate her emotions, but to clear out the noise and hear your own voice again. This isn't about going no contact as a tactic. This is about spiritual and mental detox. Once she's gone, your time, energy, and focus are now yours again. Treat them like sacred weapons. Most men give that power away through desperate texts and overthinking. But the high-value man uses that silence to sharpen his sword. Next, you must replace weakness with ritual. Wake up early and train before the sun does. Replace your anxiety with action. Lift weights, run hills, create systems. If you don't, fill the emotional void with purpose. Your mind will fill it with delusion. Channel the pain into your craft. Build a business. Start a discipline challenge. Grow your wealth. Push your body. Let your daily routine be a silent declaration. I'm not broken, I'm building. Women don't miss words, they miss energy. And when your energy becomes focused, scarce and refined, she'll feel it, even if you never speak again. That's when you stop being her ex and start becoming her lesson. Your digital silence is more powerful than any message you could send. Do not check her stories, do not like her posts, do not give her any window into your transformation. Let her imagination do the work. The less she sees of you, the more she feels you. Meanwhile, you remain grounded in your grind, working in silence, letting your glow-up echo louder than any words. This is how real masculine energy moves, not in drama or petty displays, but in focused silence. You're not doing this to get her back. You're doing this because you were built for more. And the man who knows this walks differently, speaks differently, attracts differently. Lastly, surround yourself with men who hold you to a higher standard. Community matters. Lions don't walk with sheep. Read books that sharpen your mind, listen to content that challenges your spirit, and eliminate distractions that keep you soft. Replace weak habits with disciplined action. Meditate, fast, build. Let your solitude become sacred, not lonely but legendary. And if she ever comes back, she'll come back to a man she barely recognizes. Not because you faked strength, but because you forged it. The moment you stop chasing is the moment she feels your absence like a punch in the soul. When you go silent, build in discipline and speak through your results, the world starts listening, even if she never returns. Your silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Your discipline is not punishment, it's preparation. Stop viewing her leaving as the end. It's the ignition. Every setback you face now is sharpening your blade. You don't need her to come back. You need to become the man who doesn't care if she does. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. And if you want to keep walking this warrior path, subscribe now and let's level up together.